everybody. Thanks for joining me for another One Man Review. Today I'll be taking a look at Rust Belt by Sean Knickerbocker, and this is put out by Secret Acres, is the publishing company on this. This is a collection of short stories by Sean Knickerbocker, and they really are intended to capture, a sense of the Rust Belt. Like, they're very slice of life type of stories that are intended to capture a kind of culture and a sense of place and a personality of a people in a culture. It's all drawn with like a really nice, straightforward cartooning that gets the point across with no flourishes, but has a lot of nice like life and juice to it. So just really accomplished functional cartooning is what I would call it. You get a sense of the different stories here, where like this character is learning that a friend is moving, and that they're gonna miss their friend, and the kind of the one person that they had like within in that little town, and then problems at school, getting into a fight. There's some of these cool pages which are just these big illustrations with like a different spot color going on. This spot color, like this pink that's writing underneath everything. This story here really kind of broke my heart a little bit. It maybe a little too close and personal. So like this is a character, Bradley, who's he's got a partner at home who's sick and needs some extra help. And then he said, I've had a really long day, I'm going to go upstairs and relax for a bit. And she says, you'll never eat your vegetables. And then he goes in his room and just like lights up a bong and gets super high. And she's downstairs yelling, Bradley, could you give me a hand? Brad, are you sleeping already? And he's just kind of ignoring her and turns off the lights, and he's looking at a magazine, and like she's sad and needs help and can't get it. And that, like given everything that me and Tori are going through, where not so much anymore, but when she was at the worst of the long COVID, really needed a lot of help with everything. But then I'm already doing so much with like 3 jobs and the channel and putting, trying to do art for books, and on top of taking care of someone and then doing all the cooking and housekeeping and dealing with the dogs. There are definitely times where I just needed to check out, and like I would, kind of selfishly like, wait till, I'm just gonna like get high and listen to some music tonight, and like, she fell asleep early, I can just go listen to music or just go draw or read now. But then feeling guilty about that too, like this is the person that you love and they're hurting and they're in pain and you want to be there and help take care of them, but you got to keep your own energy up. And so I just think like the cartooning on this page and the writing and everything is just really kind of devastating. This guy I think is just being more of a jerk about it. He's being more casual, purposely ignoring her than I ever would. But it definitely is like, I've had the moments of the temptation to just check out like that. And you can't when there's someone else left there like that. This story here I think was my favorite story. This isn't the beginning of the story, but this is a story about a guy getting recruited basically and then used by an alt-right group, so he's kind of someone who's making his own videos online expressing far-right political views, and then a big, like Steve Bannon type of guy comes in and takes advantage of his zeal and uses him as a spokesperson and kind of tosses him away as the arc of the story. But I really like this moment here, which is where the recruitment first begins, and he's like, checked out here. He's got his family going, but he's just checked out, and he's like watching all of the positive responses to the video that he put up, and kind of getting that bump of like a lot of likes, this thing I made is taking off, it's going viral, I finally made it, I'm big, people care what I say. And that's being manipulated, as far as I can tell, by this kind of Steve Bannon character. He's giving this guy like a carrot to chase, and then on the next page, like the opposite here, with like this same 2-panel kind of size even, you have him literally chopping up carrots. And I really like also that there's like this psychological reward kind of ploy going on here. And on the other side, he's like back to reality, where he doesn't want to be cutting carrots. And so there's like this reward and then the disincentive, and then also this idea of cleaving, that as he's being cleaved from his family, he's cleaving to, a new organization. So I think this is a really complex 2 pages and bit of writing and bit of imagery that really lands a point that is very effective, I think. And the only thing I can think similar is the way that the movie Midsummer kind of shows how people get inculcated into a cult, like slowly, step by step, and this does a really good job of that. And then here you see where he's now being leveraged to make all of these videos. So he's kind of showing up and he's making these videos. They're his content, but he's now being promoted on this site, and they're kind of leveraging him and just using him to make their point, and then kind of have, like, when it goes wrong for him, they can step back and be like, well, that's that guy there. So at the end of this, like, this character is definitely realizing somewhat that he's being used. He's calling and like, hey Dan, this is Jason again. He's trying to check in. He's been flown out to be like a speaker at some colleges and things, and they're kind of leading him along, not giving him money, but they're giving him like exposure and bringing him on a college tour and whatnot. And so and then at home, you see that his wife has now, because he's no longer making money, she's resorted to being like an Uber driver, and you have all of these different people that are like in the back of her car that she's having to put up with. And then like you have his conversation, like, you're not my boss, you're my client, da da da, and he's like yelling at this guy, you owe me a private room, you owe me a contract, and then it says end of message. So the story ends pretty abruptly. It's very sophisticated writing and very sophisticated cartooning. I feel like there's more to be told there. I hope that that's like a to be continued on this. I'm not sure, but it has this sense of someone building something larger. And Sean Knickerbocker is definitely a really great cartoonist and really great writer who's landing these, couple really emotionally loaded moments I've shown you very effectively. And I think this story continuing to go could be a really, really great kind of character study. So I'm not sure if that's the end of it, but it feels like a to be continued situation. So I found this to be a really, really compelling book. Sean Knickerbocker to be a Knickerbocker, sorry, mispronouncing that, to be a really compelling artist, someone who's saying something interesting and does have like a compelling voice that's attaching it to a region, and I think that is very valuable as well. So if you can get a copy of this, I would highly recommend it. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel and want to support us, there's 2 ways to do that. The first is through our Patreon. We have 2 different tiers of engagement that come with early access to videos, exclusive access to some webcomic experiments, and early access to some previews of things that Sean and I are working on. Any of the money that we make from Patreon just goes back into helping us pay for the books that we review, so we keep exposing you to new things, and you can determine what you want to buy then. And then that money just goes, because we're buying books, we're just putting it right back into the community and trying to help continue to grow what we think is, the medium that we love. And then if you want to support Living the Line itself, money that actually goes to us and stays with us, then the best thing to do is to support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of his projects now. House on Fire by Matt Battaglia is a just gorgeous book where Matt's kind of making an emotional response to the years of COVID and wrapping that into a sci-fi dystopian future that really the sci-fi dystopian's backgrounded, and you're focused on the emotional journey of 2 characters in a really beautiful way. And then that's enhanced by Matt's like really awesome, loose, kind of Paul Popish dry brush work. And then Sean and Matt have worked to get this second kind of orange spot color in there that's going to look really, really beautiful, and has allowed Matt to use his dry brush technique to add tone to the thing too. So with Sean's production technique, this is going to be a gorgeous book with a lot of heart. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
What's